Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm so energized to be here. I think I missed one day yesterday and I was so sad about it, but I am here to talk about life negotiations. We always have to make a choice. We have to think about something and make a choice. And the best way you're going to win at life is by negotiating with yourself first. I think this is where people miss out on an opportunity to evolve. They miss out on an opportunity to win, and miss out on an opportunity to just have clarity in your daily decisions. If you have that agreement with yourself, then life just goes so much smoother, even with your boundaries and your limits. You just automatically know what that is because you have already negotiated that with yourself. So, my name is Miss Sinclair, aka the Feminine Boss, and let's get into this conversation. I was talking to my girlfriend this morning when I got out of bed. Well, I was still in bed. And first of all, the first thing I told her was, because I felt like she was moving around and doing things. She called me, by the way, right? And so I'm like, first of all, girl, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I just moved to my new place. I'm moving some stuff around. I'm like, no, you need to stop. You need to go sit against the wall and talk to me. Give me your attention. I am giving you my attention. Let's really connect, right? Because you're calling me. So there's something on your heart. So and she was proceeding to tell me that she had love interest, and relationships are so tricky because there are other people involved, there are societies, acceptances involved, and I do believe that there should be consideration to those things, but not before you make consideration to yourself. Her particular issue was that she had a love interest with someone who was in a relationship already. And this comes up a lot in life. I mean, I have been a part of interests where people were in relationships where I was in a relationship. And, we have to be adults and realize that our desires, our hearts, our feelings are not only do they change often, but they are free form. They come, they go. And I personally believe that emotions and feelings should be honored, especially if they make you feel good, right? You can depict what good or bad means to you. And that's the other beautiful thing about your creative being. You can decide what is good and what is bad. Even when it comes to religion, religion has, been one of those practices where, they dictate what's good or what's bad based on what they believe the creator has set forth for us. But let me ask you this: why would the creator allow us to do things that goes against what religion says sometimes? There's a feeling, there's a desire within us that wants something else, and we have free will to decide to do it or not to do it. So I want you to take that and put that in your pocket, because if you're ever feeling confused about something or you are considering making a decision, check in with yourself first. So back to the story. She has a love interest with someone, and that other person is in a relationship. And this was my advice to her. I kind of spilled what I just said, but also I feel like I'm starting to have this understanding that, you know, we are designed to really create our own realities. We can determine what is good and bad, and we can determine the choices that we want to make, as long as we are also real with ourselves around, any experiences that may unfold as a part of our decisions to do something. I don't want to call them consequences, because consequences seem to be a bad word, but it's purely just an experience to allow you to make the next decision, right? All of our experiences is just a way for us to gain knowledge so that we can make the next decision in our lives, right? And so I believe that, well, I told her that, you should do what you feel is good for you. If your heart wants someone and they want you, you know, um, I think that it's up to the two consenting adults to make that decision, whether they are committed to someone else or not, personally. And I may get some backlash about that, but I don't think that you can control any person. I think that we are all free to do what we please. And as long as we are responsible in our definition of being responsible, and we're not harming anyone, and I think that if we took more power like that in our lives, then we would be happier. So let's start with talking about how you can negotiate these things with yourself. Because at the end of the day, you have to live with yourself for the rest of your life. I'm in this place right now where I am, I don't want to say this, but I'm going into my late 30s. And, I'm watching this show called Grace and Frankie on Netflix. If y'all watch that, drop me a comment. But it's an amazing show about two women in their 70s, newly divorced, and they are figuring life out again, right? And what it shows me is that we are going to age eventually. We are going to age. And our life is not going to be the same. We will always have opportunities, but the experiences that we are able to experience in our younger years are here today. So why not take advantage of those experiences today? And you have to make an agreement with yourself if this is a path that you want to go on. You have to make an agreement with yourself to really be okay with fulfilling your heart's desires. And I did a video previously in regards to acting first and thinking last, because when we have something that we desire, we feel it, we want it, it pulls us, but then we have a second and third and fourth thought that starts to, reveal fears, doubts, other people's opinions. And if we just move on acting with where our hearts and desires flow, then we can become more of who we are. We can, and if those actions don't give us the results that we want, then we can change our decisions next time, right? And so making negotiations with yourself, you really need to identify things that you are willing to experience, not willing to experience. Are you going to accommodate certain things in your life if they come about? Are you going to, be okay with collaborating in certain ways if these opportunities come about? You need to make that decision with yourself first, so that any decision that comes to the table, it's easier for you to make, and you can, reject confusion. You can prevent burnout and stress because you know exactly who you are and what you want. You've been in agreement with yourself to say, hey, I am willing to do this, even if this may happen. I am okay with that because this experience right now is worth it to me. And I've had to do that in my own life multiple times. Even when I did a video yesterday about financial independence in real estate, and after I filed my Chapter 7 bankruptcy, first of all, when I left my marriage, I negotiated and I made an agreement with myself that I will never be in a relationship again that does not allow me to be fully who I am. I will never be in a relationship that, does where I do not experience respect. I will never, be in a relationship where I am tied and bound in the ability to express myself or even explore. I mean, I always wanted to travel, right? And so as soon as I left, I got opportunity to travel and move abroad. And so with making these negotiations with myself, understanding the pros and the cons, I am able to make decisions every day based on who I want to be and what I want. And so it's easier even to make negotiations with other people. First of all, when you know exactly who you are and what you want, you can go into a relationship and make negotiations. You have to understand that when you're dealing with other people and you're in a relationship, first of all, everything is a negotiation. But is that person emotionally intelligent enough to have this conversation? Are they experienced enough? Are they confident enough? Do they have communication skills? Because when you're sharing your life with someone, you have to be able to communicate these things with them so that you both can get what you want. Every relationship is a give and take. So why not have that discussion up front so that you guys know exactly what you're getting into? And when things are not working out, why can't you come to your partner and negotiate things with them? Because you already know what you want, how you feel, what you desire. Why can you not every year or every 2 years or every 3 years come together and be like, hey, how is this relationship going? Do we want to change some things? We do it all the time in business. We do it all the time at work in our corporate careers. So why can't we organize our lives like this as well? And I had some pushback when I did this interview with David Shands about being a feminine boss. He said, a boss is someone who delegates and someone who manages other people and manages organizations. But if you cannot manage your own life, if you can't manage your emotions, if you cannot manage your relationships, how can you have that skill set? I believe that being a feminine boss is also about managing all of these things, but also making an executive decision to lead, first of all, with your heart and desires, and to also make decisions that align with who you are and who you want to be. And so we have to have that mindset all across the board. And that's where a lot of people fail. They're able to articulate themselves at work, not take anything at heart, just be very practical and all these things. But when you get home, those skills just don't align and don't match up. And I think if we were able to put these two things together, then we can live a more fulfilling lifestyle. So back to negotiating things, your job is a negotiation. That's why you start to build skills within yourself. You start to have these experiences that you have notated down so that you can have negotiating power. If you feel like you're not in a position in your career to have negotiating power, then maybe you should take a step back and analyze where you need to grow to make you a more value asset so that you can have negotiating power. Right. And it's the same thing in your own personal life. You want a certain lifestyle, you want to switch up your lifestyle and become this boss chick, or maybe you want to switch up this lifestyle and become a housewife. It doesn't matter what you want to do, but you have to be able to identify who you need to be, what skill sets you need to have in order to play this game. If you are dealing with other people and you're out in the world and society, right, you have to be able to play the game. And you have to first identify the agreements with yourself, what you're willing to do, not do. And you can come back to these agreements and say, you know what, I've been doing this, something I'm doing right now. I'm like, listen, I've been doing this for a while. I'm not really interested in it anymore. So what do I need to go forward? Right? What do I need? What factors do I need to consider to make the next decision about my life? And so I want you to practice that self talk. You come with certain experiences in your life and you need to use them in your own personal factors, like in your own personal life, so that you can apply them and get the things that you want. That's what we're all here for. We are all here to win at this life. We are all here to achieve something. And so you have to have that understanding with yourself first. Then you could take it to your relationship. And then you could take it to your career. Like, you have to be confident and comfortable with having these conversations because every single thing is a negotiation. I also think that the problem is a lot of us at times we get so attached to the outcome. We get attached to the outcome, like, if this happens, this means something, or if this doesn't happen, this means something. Well, sometimes it just is what it is, right? Whatever happens, use that as a identifier in your next decision making process. This is life. We need to stop being attached to things, people, and outcomes, and be attached to us, our own soul journey. Be attached to the evolving of ourselves, the creation of ourselves in our reality. Like, have fun with life. Be curious about life. Like, want to experience things so that as you move forth, you have the confidence, you have the experience, you have the peace, because you know exactly what's going on, you know exactly what you're going to accept, what you're not going to accept, and just enjoy the ride. It's like watching things in a third person's point of view. Like, I do the Silva method meditations, and this is what the Silva method meditation is about. It's about removing yourself from the physical, removing yourself from first person experiencing these things, and instead taking a step back and watching things from a bird's eye view so that you can really see, so that you can really see what's happening out there. And then it's like the Sims game, right? You can really see the world. You can see, oh, okay, if she goes down this path, she's going to end up there, so maybe I'll change the path. It gives you a different perspective on life, right? And so I want you to practice just, figuring that out. What are your non-negotiables? What are you not going to accommodate or collaborate on? Like, what are you not, what things are you going to avoid and not even deal with? I mean, you don't have to take everything on. You can decide not to deal with something. You can decide not to talk about something, right? So you need to put these agreements in place with yourself first. So I hope that this was helpful. If you are having, if you are in a place where you need to make a decision about something, and it's just not sitting right with you, um, figure out what are your non-negotiables. Figure out the things you're willing to accommodate on or compromise on, and then make your decision from there. And be confident enough to let the pieces fall where they lay. Right? Let the pieces fall. No stress, no anxiety. This is your stance. This is your 10 toes down on this particular thing, and you cannot control what the environment or other people do. You can only control within. You can only control what you the things that you participate in and the actions that you take. So just be aware of this, and be bold and be confident and be strong about the decisions that you make in your life. Yeah, I think that's about it. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time.